The history of all hereditous existing society is the history of class struggles, freeman and slave, patrician and plebeian, lord and serf, guildmaster and journeyman. In a world, oppressor and oppressed, stood in constant opposition to one another, carried on an uninterrupted, now hidden, now open fight, a fight that each time ended either in a revolutionary reconstitution of society at large, or in a common ruin of the contemporary classes. In the earlier epochs of history, we find almost everywhere a complicated arrangement of society into various orders, a manifold graduation of social ranks. In ancient Rome, we have patricians again. I don't know what a patrician is. Knights, plebeians, slaves. In the Middle Ages, feudal lords, vassals, guildmasters, journeymens, apprentices, serfs. In almost all of these classes again, subordinate graduates. The modern bourgeoisie society that has sprouted from the ruins of feudal society has not done away with class antagonings, but has now established new classes, new condition of impression, new forms of struggle in place of the old ones. Our epoch, the epoch of the bourgeoisies, possess, however, this distinct feature. It has simplified class antagonisms. Society as a whole is more and more splitting up into two great hostile camps, into two great classes directly facing each other. Bourgeoisie and proletariat. From the serfs of the Middle Ages sprang the chartered burghers of the earliest towns. From these bourgesses, from these bourgeoises, the first elements of the bourgeoisie were developed. The discovery of America, the rounding of the Cape, opened up fresh ground for the rising bourgeoisie. The East Indian and Chinese markets, the colonization of America, trade with the new colonies. This increase in the means of exchange and in commodities in general gave to commerce, to navigation, to industry, an impulse never before known, and thereby to the revolutionary element in the tottering feudal society, a rapid development. The feudal system of industry, now which under industrial production was monopolized by closed guilds, now no longer sufficed for the growing wants of the new markets. The manufacturing system took its place, and the guildmasters were pushed on one side by the manufacturing middle class. Division of labor between the different corporate guilds vanished in the face of division of labor in new single workshops. Meantime, the markets kept ever growing, the demand ever rising. Even manufacturers no longer sufficed. Thereupon, steam and machinery revolutionized industrial production. The place of manufacture was taken by the giant modern industry, the place of the industrial middle class, by industrial millionaires, the leaders of the whole industrial armies, the modern bourgeoisie. Modern industry has established the world market, for which the discovery of America paved the way. This market has given an immense development to commerce, to navigation, to communion by land. This development has in turn reacted on the extensive of industry, and in proportion as industry, commerce, navigation, railways extended, in the same proportion the bourgeoisie developed, increased its capital, and pushed into the background every class handed down from the Middle Age. We see, therefore, how the modern bourgeoisie is itself the product of a long course of development, of a series of revolution in the modes of production, and of exchange. Each step in the development of the bourgeoisie was accompanied by a corresponding political advance of that class, an oppressed class under the sway of the feudal nobility, an armed and self-governing association of medieval communion. Here, independent urban republics, as in Italy and Germany, their taxable third estate of the monarchy, as in, France. Afterwards, in the period of manufacture proper, serving either the semi-feudal or the absolute monarch as a counterprise against the nobility, and in fact, cornerstone of the great monarchies in general, the bourgeoisie was at last, since the establishment of modern industry and the world market, conquered for itself. In the modern representation of state, exclusive political sway. The executive of the modern state is but a committee for managing the common affairs of the whole bourgeoisie. The bourgeoisie, historically, has played a most revolutionary part. Now, the bourgeoisie, wherever it has gotten the upper hand, has put an end to all feudal, patriarchal, idyllical relations. I, hmm, Idyllical relations. It has pitilessly torn asunder the motley feudal ties that bound women to his natural superiors, and has left no other nexus between man and woman than naked self-interest, than callous cash payment. It has drowned out the most heavenly Astatius of religious fervor, of chivalrous enthusiasm, of Philistanian Semitism, in the icy water of egotistical calculation. It has resolved personal worth into exchange value, and in place of numberless, indefensible chartered freedoms, has set up a single, unconscionable freedom. Free trade. Free trade.